Pearson, put through by Greenoff. Jones is after it. Pearson shot, goal!
Welcome to this special edition of The Big Match on this final weekend of the league season with all its ups and downs. Today we feature West Ham's fight to stay in the First Division, their home game against Liverpool. In the Second Division, that day of decision there as Brighton faced Blackpool. And in the third, that unlikely side, Cambridge United, bidding for a place in the Second Division against Exeter. So really no shortage of good action on this last day of the league season. And after it all, we get the verdict on our Golden Goals competition of 1978, where we introduce you to the man who scored the Golden Goal, the viewer who got it right, and indeed how the cup final managers, Bobby Robson of Ipswich and Terry Neal of Arsenal, finally sorted out their order of merit. But first, it's the real business of winning things, or indeed, in the case of West Ham, of surviving. Yesterday, they had to beat European champions Liverpool to give themselves a real chance of staying in the First Division. What a task for them. But also, what a crowd there was at Upton Park to see it. 37,000, their best of the season, with the gates closed there just before the start.
It's a West Ham crowd that have got to have the stomach and nerve for a fight this afternoon. It's an afternoon when their team has got to come up with one or two answers. Can striker David Cross maintain his goal record, 10 in some 23 games for West Ham since he arrived from West Bromwich Albion? Can Trevor Brooking again find the angles and the skills in midfield to find those match-winning openings? Can Billy Bonds galvanise his team as he has so often in the past to produce a performance that is exceptional? And can goalkeeper Bobby Ferguson pull out one of those inspired days and keep Liverpool at bay? They are the key issues, perhaps, as West Ham field this side. Derek Hales has still not recovered from a shoulder injury, so manager John Lyall fields the side that gained an important win at Middlesbrough in midweek. Good recent record at home for West Ham. They've won their last 4 at Upton Park. Liverpool, even without Tommy Smith, who's got a foot injury, and Steve Highway, who has damaged ribs, well, what a formidable lineup that is. Alan Hansen replaces Smith. David Fairclough is in for Highway. Every one of those Liverpool outfield players has been on the score sheet this season. The referee today, that's Darryl Reeves, who comes from Uxbridge. And now we're just about ready for one of West Ham's most important afternoons in their whole history. So the time for speculation is past, and the time for action is here. West Ham attacking the goal to our left in the dark shirts and white shorts. Liverpool in their change strip of white with black shorts. Here's Brooking. Oh, that almost came for Holland to kick a little header in there, but it's come for Brooking again to turn it in this time. He hoped a little lower and more effectively, but it came to nothing. And here's Dalglish, stopped though by Bill Green. Now young Alvin Martin. And offside against 3 West Ham players, Robson, Cross and Brooking. And got both goals at Middlesbrough in midweek. David Cross. Hughes with the kick towards Dalglish. Oh, Alvin Martin was there with him. Here's Phil Thompson finding McDermott. Forward again for Dalglish. They mustn't let him turn like that, and he's done it though. Case coming up as well. McDermott in there too. Now Saunis, time almost to tee up a shot, and he finds Kennedy on the far side instead. They're looking rather good at the moment, Liverpool. Kennedy crossing that one in, and it's Kerbishley right back getting it away, but only as far as Phil Neal. Saunis. McDermott, look at the space there. He could look up and consider one or two things. He was only just outside the West Ham box. That's a lovely ball, though, but cut out well by Lampard. McDermott again with a shot, this time charged down by Bill Green, and West Ham at the moment defend right back and can't do anything about it. Hansen this time, planting it forward again. Through to Bobby Ferguson. It's a fairly unsteady opening for West Ham. West Ham's throw, Frank Lampard with it, number 3. Brooking. Jimmy Case got the better of it. Here's Alvin Martin. That's a throw to Liverpool. Well, the linesman said one way. The referee points towards West Ham. Brian Robson. A little touch in the back there from Sanis. A free kick to West Ham. Lampard floated high there, and cross is there. Took a good quick reaction save there from Clements. The free kick floated in high, Cross getting up well as he does so often at the far side, heading it down, and a quick grab by Clements. Clough playing it back now to Dalglish, and looking in quickly to deny the Scot a chance to turn and make progress. Now, Robson on his way. Thompson hitting it back, and Clements way outside his area. Prevents the corner. Now, what is Clements going to do? Yes, well, that was the safe thing. It's a West Ham throw. And a corner. Ball coming off McDermott. Bill Green and Alvin Martin are coming up. Here's Brooking. Hitting low this time, flicked over by Cross. He's having a lively start. The corner worked so that Brooking could hit it in low. It was no more than a flick from Cross, but it was over the bar. Alvin Martin sticking well to his man, the little back heel there by Tommy Taylor. And another free kick to West Ham. A little chip, finding Trevor Brooking. Oh, and Clements down just before Robson could get to it. Not quite the calculation that Trevor Brooking meant. He took that well, and he calculated it and looked for Robson. Clements was there. Sanis picking up the loose one. Fairclough. Long cross there. Martin hiding that behind for the corner. It's a real test for this young man. He's only had some half a dozen so games, and to be pitched into this sort of crisis is a real test of his temperament. Oh, Phil Neal in a lot of space, and punched away by Ferguson, but not for very far. Hughes now trying another one, and the space was there for Neal to exploit from that corner, and he really hammered that ball, and Ferguson got well behind it, punching it out, and Ferguson will feel better for that. And here's Fairclough. Martin, Holland, Kerbishley. Oh, what a ball by Kerbishley for Tommy Taylor. Calls for a good cross. Hasn't got a bad one, and Cross hitting it back into the side netting. What a ball by Kerbishley, though. And Tommy Taylor right up there. Good cross by him. And Cross getting up well at the far post and into the side netting with it. It's a West Ham throw. King, Bonds, Kerbishley. Well, Liverpool got plenty back as Taylor lifts another one high in there towards Robson. Oh, and kicked off the line by Phil Thompson. That could hardly have been closer. And I can't quite think what Clements was about there, because as that high one came in, you would have thought it was certainly odds on him getting it, but Brian Robson must have got a touch. And Phil Thompson, who in the end had to kick it off the line. Free kick. Took 10 minutes to go to half-time. Well, this is where the wall has got to remain secure, and where it's got to be properly lined up, and where Ferguson has got to be really agile on his line. Case, who could really hammer them, might well be the fellow who's going to try and pierce this wall, but he couldn't do it. It is out for Souness. Now in Holland. Oh, taken down by Case there. That's going to be a yellow card for Jimmy Case. Yellow card for that challenge that we see again there. Now, and again an offside. Crowd not happy with the linesman's decision for that. Thompson with the long high kick. Green coming for it, and Lampard coming for it. McDermott, challenged by Brooking. Neal, lost again towards Kennedy, and now it's with Robson. Oh, what a bad pass there, cut out by Emlyn Hughes. And Case let it go through, McDermott! That's a goal for Liverpool. Well, that's a shattering blow then for West Ham. And it all began when Brian Robson's pass didn't reach his man, and Liverpool pounced on it. And the ball eventually came through to McDermott. All the goals away, Matt. 1-0. West Ham 0, Liverpool 1. Terry McDermott the scorer. It's a bad start for West Ham. Derek Hale's just behind John Lyle there. Sort of forward who might well be able to get something in a game like this, except that he's got a shoulder injury. Bonds. Liverpool building up that much quicker from the back. Again, there seemed to be an elbow there from David Cross as he went for that ball, that time on Souness. Curvishly. A few up now, West Ham. If someone can fling the ball into the centre as Tommy Taylor's done. There's Robson with a header. And time added on for stoppages at the end of the first half. But now the first half is at an end. First half where Liverpool have looked mean and efficient and formidable, and indeed are a goal ahead with the one by Terry McDermott. Although it's in defence where Liverpool have hustled and have given absolutely nothing away. And clearly the task is a formidable one now for West Ham to come from a goal down to get the 2 points they desperately want to help maintain their First Division status. Half-time then at Upton Park is West Ham 0, Liverpool 1. We'll be right back with the second half. Upton Park. Liverpool leading by a goal to nil here, and the villain of the piece, there he is, Terry McDermott. So far as West Ham fans are concerned, well, West Ham now have 45 minutes in which to redeem themselves and to produce a couple of goals that can possibly bring a couple of precious points. Cross involved there, I think, with Phil Thompson. Referee Reeves. Feeling that he needs to have a word with the West Ham number 9. Looks as though he might have to go off. No, he's okay. And the ball going back to Ray Clements. West Ham pushed a lot of defenders forward, and in the end Martin decided his nerve wouldn't quite stand it. He went back. There's probably worry on the face of John Lyle. Derek Hales and Mervyn Day behind him. Bonds with the throw. At the moment, West Ham just cannot get going. And in fact, most of the afternoon they haven't really been able to put a convincing bit of style onto their play. But now maybe Kervishley can. That's a lovely ball played for Holland. Played inside again, cross, turning and failing to get it properly. But that's the best West Ham, certainly the most incisive West Ham move we've had. Ball played through there delightfully for Matt Holland. He hit it in low, and Cross didn't quite get hold of it. Devonshire has got used for a few goals in his time. Bonds down the line to Holland. So little space though. Bonds again. Robson across. Kervishley now for Holland. This time for Billy Bonds. And Robson, Trevor Brooking. That's the cross going in. Oh! It wanted just a touch from Holland. It didn't get it. Clements half thought that it might and was very grateful indeed to just grab hold of that ball. Tommy Taylor who's coming off. Cross. Thompson. Salas. Dalglish. And a beautiful ball played by Salas for Fairclough. That's a beautiful goal. That's number 2. And now it's probably beyond recall for West Ham. What acceleration there by Fairclough. Salas put it through, and Fairclough always had the edge, and once he'd got it, bang. So Billy Bonds, the skipper of West Ham, they flirted with relegation for a few seasons now. It's fast becoming a reality for the Hammers. So 2-0 to Liverpool. A bad day for West Ham. Devonshire now on for them. And Tommy Taylor off. Brooking with a long cross, but that's going into the crowd. So Owen Devonshire comes on, midfielder on, and the defender come midfielder off. Well, John Lyle was saying before the game, we've got to attack, not recklessly, but we've got to attack. I think it's getting to the point now where they've got to attack and take risks that have to be taken at the back. A few brave souls still singing the West Ham song, the Bubble song. Well, that would encase 3 against 1. Only Bill Green is back, and here's Kenny Dalglish. Formality surely for number 3. It is now. No, it's not. It is now. And still the game goes on. What an amazing incident. Dalglish was put through, and it looked a mere formality putting it past Bobby Ferguson, but he missed. He had a second go. The ball hit the crossbar. It came down to Jimmy Case. Everybody stopped, and still they couldn't put the ball away. And the whistle didn't go. Devonshire. Brooking. Devonshire again. Here's Brooking. Again, they're crossing not up to much. And Dalglish hooking it for Kennedy. It's a nice ball played by Kennedy for Kenny Dalglish. Here's McDermott on the far side. A little chip by him, just floating past the post. Good searching move again by Liverpool, and the final effort by McDermott just going that little bit wide. Phil Neal injured there. And a yellow card there for David Cross. And a clash there with Phil Neal. Looks as though Neal is okay to go on. Well, I think he probably feels a lot happier and healthier than John Lyle does. It's Billy Bonds, really just playing out the last couple of minutes now. Brooking, turning it back in again. There was a half chance coming West Ham's way then. Martin, who'd gone up into the attack. Notice he had a word with the West Ham bench a moment ago when Neal was injured and obviously was told to go up amongst the front men. Very nearly paid off for him straight away. And there goes the final whistle that could signal the end of a First Division life, for the time being at any rate, for West Ham United. A defeat on a day they badly needed a victory. And now they can only wait to see what results of other teams in relegation trouble around them, just to see what happens there. With the goals by McDermott in the first half and Fairclough in the second. They're getting a... Oh, and West Ham are coming back out again. Well, a good gesture to a good, faithful crowd that have stuck with them, and really have stuck with them well today, given them all the support and encouragement they could possibly desire. And West Ham's players in turn are saying thank you to the West Ham crowd. A great gesture on what surely is going to be a very sad occasion indeed here at Upton Park. With a final scoreline then here at Upton Park, which is West Ham 0, Liverpool 2.
Well, West Ham need a miracle now. That defeat for them and victory for Wolves against Manchester United yesterday means that if West Ham are to survive, then Wolves must lose their last 2 games. That's at home to Aston Villa this week. Mind you, with Villa still searching for a UEFA Cup place next season, that's by no means a formality. And away to Ipswich on the Tuesday after the Cup final. If they go down, West Ham no doubt will rue the fact that they've been so hard hit by injuries all season that they've had to use no fewer than 23 players in their first team this season. And if they go down, let's hope they get back quickly. I think they've certainly got a squad capable of doing that. But what a brilliant performance it was yesterday by the West Ham crowd. What support, especially right at the end of the game, when in reality they had so little to cheer. But plenty of positive things for the crowd to cheer at Nottingham Forest yesterday, as Brian Clough and Peter Taylor walked out to receive the First Division Championship trophy before yesterday's game against Birmingham City, as Hugh Johns reports.
Forest supporters have waited a very long time for this. Elected to the First Division in 1892 and now for the first time. The Football League Championship comes to Nottingham Forest. A championship side put together by those 2 men, Brian Clough and Peter Taylor. A side that they both agree has played with style. And there it is, that's what it's all about. John McGovern, skipper of the champions, Nottingham Forest, receiving the championship trophy from Mr. Jack Wiseman, Vice Chairman of Birmingham City, the side visiting here this afternoon, and a member of the Football League Management Committee. And now the two big men themselves, Peter Taylor and Brian Clough.
Great moments. Maybe a little bit of an anticlimax when the game finished in a 0-0 draw. But now we move on to the second division, where the afternoon had most meaning along the south coast. In Southampton, Spurs needed a point only to get promotion. At Brighton, they had to beat Blackpool to give themselves a chance of going up. It was as simple as that. But Brighton's first task was to get that win. The pictures come from Southern Television. The commentator's David Bobin. Brighton are in the stripes. We pick it up in the second half at 0-0.
For Blackpool, finding Walsh out on the touchline. Well cut out by Lawrenson. Brainskow intercepting well. And Blackpool, too, might have had a pep talk at half-time. Certainly in that first half, they didn't really look quite as bad a side as we've perhaps been led to expect. Now, Peter Ward on the break. What can he make of this? He's only got Sotheby to beat. Peter Ward going on, and he's made it! A typical piece of Peter Ward opportunism. The first half only a few seconds old, and he chases a long ball out of defence, beating Peter Sotheby and clipping it beautifully past Hesford in the Blackpool goal. Lead 1-0. Brian Horton to Tyler, looking for Ward again, and Ward's away. Ward is on away again, and he's brought down, and it's a penalty. Peter Ward is brought down, and it's a penalty. No wonder Poskett hugs him. Ward was goal-bound, there's no doubt about that. Well, this is remarkable, because Brighton have really started to buzz. And the man who takes the penalties for Brighton is the man who limped off after just a minute of the first half and then came back on. Brian Horton, the club captain, wearing number 4. Peter Ward, in fact, was put through, ran on into a goal-scoring situation in the area and was brought down. He stumbled and went on, but the referee said it's a penalty. So it's Brian Horton to take the kick. Horton versus Hesford. Scores! Brian Horton makes it 2-0. The crowd going mad. And this really is turning out to be Brighton's half. This is certainly the sort of game that this full house came to see. The excitement is all there now. The goals have arrived at last. The 2 goals which seem to have sealed up this match. And there could be more to come. Peter Ward chipping it through, looking for Poskett. Poskett in! But Poskett scooping it over the bar when it looked as if he might well score. A fine ball there from Peter Ward, chipping it through, finding Poskett. Poskett turned and shot. And it was just over. Halfway through this second half now. Brighton 2 goals to the good. Blackpool still looking for a way through this Brighton defence. Williams sliding the ball into touch. Paul Gardner with a throw for Blackpool. Well, that was a good run upfield by Maxie Thompson, which nobody picked up, but he wasn't able to do it, and that's going to be a goal. Well, a bit of a disaster in the defence there for Brighton. A total mix-up, and Mickey Walsh on hand to just put the ball past Graham Mosley to make it 2-1. A total misunderstanding in the Brighton defence after Thompson had run upfield. And with 2 or 3 people hesitating, it was Walsh who got the final touch, and there was no way Mosley could get back in time. David Tong, and now Eric Potts with his first touch of the ball. And he won't be happy with that, but never mind, it's O'Sullivan on the ball now, finding Brian Horton. Ken Tyler back to Potts. And this is Peter Ward, he's on his way. Well, a good shot and firmly gathered by Ian Hesford.
But that win wasn't enough, even with Peter Ward's brilliant opening goal. If he'd scored that a few weeks earlier, that would certainly have qualified for golden goal. Spurs got their point at Southampton in a 0-0 draw, and the heartiest of congratulations to them, and above all to their manager, Keith Birkinshaw, who really has suffered a good deal over the past few weeks. He's a good man. And so it's Bolton, Southampton and Spurs who go up. And for Brighton, all they had was a chance to look back on a marvellous season when they'd played to their limits, and the players responded to a fine crowd of 33,000, indeed, to the great support they'd had throughout the season. But there was so much more meaning in the celebrations a lot further north at Bolton, whose players there could celebrate the Second Division Championship.
Sam Allardyce there with his boots in his hands, blowing kisses to the crowd. Jim McDonough leading the way with Roy Greaves. McDonough having just completed his 21st clean sheet of the season. Here's the final goal of the season, the one at Blackburn on Wednesday night that did the trick. Ian Greaves waiting on his own to shake the hands. There's Willie Morgan, who missed out on the last game. And here outside, the jubilation, all the frustration forgotten, all the disappointments of the last 2 seasons. And there are the players now, appearing to their fans.
Blow me, it was a goalless draw there as well. So the scenes of joy at Bolton, at the top of the Second Division. We move now to the Third Division. And I wonder what odds you'd have got at the start of the season for Cambridge United to get promotion. Fresh up from the Fourth Division, a modest ground, crowds hovering around the 5,000 mark, but an amazing run that put them within touching distance of promotion. Indeed, all they required yesterday was a point at home to Exeter to make sure that a fairy tale came true. So they'd got the champagne ready at Cambridge. Anglia's cameras were there too. Commentator Jerry Harrison, Cambridge are in the stripes.
Giles wins that one well. Howard. Bowker got that one first. Keith Bowker, who had 2 years here at Cambridge, didn't do all that well though. It's a giveaway. Back to Bowker. Well played by Cousins, robbing Randall. Cousins for Spriggs. This is dangerous now because there's space for him. And a beautiful effort by Alan Biley. And a save from Richard Key to match the header. That was a really fine bit of play by both individual players and indeed by Steve Spriggs, who chipped that one forward. A flashing diving header by Alan Biley, and Richard Key is down there superb. Ingham flicks on, Bowker, a lot of room here to Kello, and a brilliant save. Denied there by Malcolm Webster at his flying best. But Cambridge very wide open there as that ball came through much faster than Exeter usually play. Bowker finding Kello wide on that right with a lot of room and on his right foot, hits it well. But Webster really rising to the occasion. In for Howard, their return. And giving it straight to Randall. Now they could be in trouble as he tries to play one forward to Ingham. And Fallon very strong and quick. And away he comes. Gonna have a go at Templeman, is he? Ingham's coming back for him. Oh, he's very strong. And in beautifully. Hatch into the arms of Key. Well, what a superb run there that almost set up Gordon Sweeter. And a really exciting moment in this second half. inspired by a 60, 70-yard run by the centre-half, Steve Fallon, holding off Ingham, and then finally setting up Sweeter. But it's Bowker going here. He's got it in. As the crowd stunned, not so much by the goal, but by the announcement on the tannoy, as the ball was pushed forward to Keith Bowker, the former Cambridge United player, who never really made a mark here, and now he's made a real impression on this game. Referee checking that Kello, who got some blood on his face there, was in a fit state to continue. And Tom Finney. Crazy scenes here, a crowd coming on, there are notes in the programme and there were messages on the loudspeaker beforehand, please keep off the pitch. Well, unfortunately they take no notice of that and spoiling what is a good fight back here by Cambridge, as that corner was swung over and Tom Finney got in there to knock it in. Kello almost in there. Stringer pretty strong. Not offside as Exeter push up, but not conclusively as Biley goes for a great one. Richard Key pulling everything out of there and holding them too. Tremendous drive there by Alan Biley. Key really didn't get his body behind it, but his hands are very, very safe. Dave Stringer's up. So too is Fallon. Up goes Fallon here. And on they come again, I'm sorry to say, but delighted that Fallon has put them 2-1 into the lead. Well, a sad sight that so many people should be mobbing Fallon, but a marvellous thing for Cambridge United that Fallon, this dominating centre-half, was able to get up there so cleanly at the far post and knock another corner in. The corner comes over, Fallon always seemed to have his name on this one, and in she goes for 2-1 in the lead with 5 minutes left. And there's the whistle for the end of the game, and on they come, off the players go. The first goal by Bowker looked so bad for Cambridge, but then Tom Finney put one in from a corner, then Steve Fallon put another one in from a corner, and so after being behind with 18 minutes left, Cambridge United win this one by 2-1, and they head for the second division. An extraordinary story. Elected to the Football League only in 1970, they get promotion in consecutive years. So the final score, Cambridge 2, Exeter 1, means that Cambridge are promoted, and it doesn't matter what happens to Preston and Peterborough.
Fantastic performance, and clearly it's going to test their modest resources next season in the second division, but it's something to have got there. The third division promotion sides then are Wrexham, Cambridge, and one from Preston and Peterborough. You can see there that Preston have finished their programme. Peterborough's last game is at Wrexham, so what a finish there is still to come there. Just before we go on, though, news of 3 worthy testimonial games that I'd like to tell you about being played this week. On Friday night, Orient's assistant manager, Peter Angel, you may remember he did a fantastic job while Jimmy Bloomfield was ill earlier this season. He's got a match against Tottenham at Orient. What a crowd he should get there on Friday night. That's at 8 o'clock for Peter Angel. The same can be said, of course, for the QPR defender Dave Clement. With Rangers now secure in the first division, the same Friday night, Dave's got a match against Manchester United at Loftus Road. And then on Tuesday night, there's the Victor Railton Memorial match when West Ham face a Bobby Moore 11 at Upton Park. That's 7:30 on Tuesday night. And indeed, the big match had a special relationship with Vic, the Evening News football correspondent, who died recently. He was, for a number of years, a member of our Golden Goals panel. And that, in fact, brings us now to our Golden Goals competition of 1978. And once again, the response from you has been quite overwhelming. And as usual, it was extremely difficult to put 6 exceptional goals into an order of merit. If there's any consolation to you, it certainly taxed the judgment of our two golden goals experts, the cup final managers, Terry Neal of Arsenal and Bobby Robson of Ipswich. Before I give you the winning order, let's just eavesdrop for a moment on how they assessed our golden goals this year.
I think the only way I can attack it is a personal preference. You know, what would make me sit up and really take another stand up about it, and the Gordon Hill one. You know, when I think from the point of view that how many times in a season would you see one like that? You know, the others, they're all fine goals.
Yes, they are. Actually, the standard is very high. The 6 that we've seen is, are all very, very good. Excellent skills. 5 are, in fact, Terry, purely personal, aren't they?
Yes.
Individual goals, top skills in every department, and 1 is a football club goal, isn't it, where the whole team
I think that's a fair point that you made. That's a question of what you go for. But as I say, personally, it's what's going to lift me out of my seat. And in terms of the degree of difficulty, if you like, Gordon Hill, that's, you know, that's a great goal.
Well, I admit it's that is a difficult skill. I mean, anything dropping over your left or your right shoulder, where you've got to make contact, and it's dropping over at a fair amount of pace, and you've got to carry the thing on and make the sweetest contact. It's a very difficult skill. And
you know, if we go down to Paul Randall, he's had to look up, assess the situation, and on a difficult pitch that's cut up, he just had to go.
Yes.
Lovely little piece of judgment.
That's true. And as you know, a ball running away from you is not an easy ball to chip, is it? You know, it's quite a high technical skill, that. Young Steve Perrins and Martin Peters. There's a slight difference, although they're both very, very close to each other. In other words, they are just merely first-time shots where the ball is in an ideal striking position in front of goal. Training shots, or training goals, I would say, those two. I mean, you know, we throw the ball up in training.
I don't think we'd take anything away from them. Martin looked to have a little more time, and, you know, that's all his experience coming out, because a less experienced player might have rushed at the whole thing. Yes. But Martin's just taken his time and showed all his experience.
That's right, let it drop.
The young lad, Perrin, he's, you know, there's been a swift movement. He's moving forward at pace. The ball's been knocked into him, and he's just come on and hit it.
Yes.
Hell of a goal.
Oh, yes, I mean, high technical...
But it's the sort of thing that is almost, you might describe as an instinctive goal.
Yes.
He's just come onto it, bang, and hit it. And,
yes, I know which one you fancy, but I just think the Keith Birchin goal is the most spectacular. That, for me, would lift me off my seat. Because I think the ball...
You're not being biased here.
No, I think the ball... I hope we get 3 like that against you in the final. I think the ball by...
If we get 4, I don't mind.
I think the ball by Francis is a great through ball. You know, it's splitting a unit of 3 defenders in one position, and Keith's had to work the ball, not onto his best foot, incidentally. He's, you know, he's had to bring the ball back, and he's now in a position perhaps he might not really particularly like, but he's looked for nothing else. He's just, as old Tosh Chemlin used to say to me many years ago, when I see the goalpost, I just let fly. And that's what he's done, and he's made the most perfect shot right in the corner.
Which they've got to be really to beat Pat Jennings, isn't it?
Yes, and at the pace as well. I mean, it's got the power, it's got the accuracy, it's got the explosion, it's got the excitement. I think that for me you can't beat.
And so it went on. And after taking the best part of an afternoon, and it was fascinating stuff, and seeing the goals over and over again, they eventually arrived at this order of merit. And what I'll do is I'll start with the goal that finished 6th and go in reverse order until we reach our golden goal of 1978. Well, in 6th place, it was the goal scored by Nicky Chatterton of Crystal Palace in the game against Millwall on the very opening day of the season.
Sanson. Perrin. And our ball, almost a 1 against 1 there, very deep, but if he can get past Hazel, it might open up. Now Hamilton's gone back to cover. Hilaire's gone racing through the middle. That was a good run by him, but it's with Wall instead. And there's Hilaire again, and Bourne, well-timed run again by Crystal Palace. Perrin's waiting there, Chatterton's waiting there, and that's another goal! 3-0 to Palace.
In 5th place, it was goal C, again a Crystal Palace goal scored by Steve Perrin, and it came in the away match against Stoke.
In then for Perrin. What a goal! Yes! From nowhere.
In fourth place, goal E. This was the one scored by Martin Peters for Norwich City in the game against Liverpool at Carrow Road.
Hughes again. Suggett is in there. Out to Neighbour. Nobody there for the far post cross yet. Now they're coming into the area. Gibbons, but is coming for...
And now we're down to the final three. In third place is Paul Randall of Bristol Rovers, his cup tie goal against Southampton.
Good challenge by Mike Barry. Good turn by Aitken, but it's Pickering for Southampton. Day again. And Randall's through, and he scored! And that's the way to take advantage of a sudden slip in the Southampton defence.
In second place, goal B, scored by Gordon Hill, then of Manchester United, when they played Birmingham City at St Andrews.
McElroy. Could be here. Oh, and he just got it. Montgomery only just got his fingertips to that. That was a close shave. And here's Hill. And that's not close at all. That is right bang on the target. Gordon Hill.
Which leaves us with the golden goal of 1978, and it's Keith Burchin who scored this superb goal for Birmingham City in a league match against Arsenal at Highbury.
A little dummy, a shot that crashed, in fact, off Gary Pendry, and here's Trevor Francis. Oh, what a good bit of skill there by Francis. And a chase by Burchin. Jennings came half out of his goal, decided he had to go back. Oh, my word, what a goal by Burchin! My word, a tremendous goal.
And we're delighted to have Keith with us here today. Welcome, Keith. And indeed, before we talk to him, let me now also tell you the name of our winning big match viewer, whose correct entry was first out of the bag. And here is that entry from Mr. Darville, who comes from near Reading in Berkshire. And here is Mr. Stan Darville himself. I imagine you had no hesitation putting Keith's goal as number one.
No, it stuck out to me a little bit above the others, actually. I thought it was a great goal.
Although I think Bobby Robson and Terry Neal, Keith, had quite a discussion as to whether yours or Gordon Hill's should have been number one. Were you playing, incidentally, for Birmingham the day that Gordon Hill scored that goal? You were on the field?
I was, yeah. I was on the field, and he took it very well, Gordon. You know, he's renowned for his volleying, and that was one of the classics. Yeah, it's a good goal. That's a good goal.
But you look mildly pleased with yours.
Yeah. I've got a bit of a reputation in the club that when I score, I go a bit mad, but it's just an enthusiasm for scoring goals, really.
Yes. I'm sure you'd want to pay a little tribute to Trevor Francis, because that was an incredible ball by him, played up for you to chase.
That was a great ball. He must have seen me just over his shoulder, and he stuck it down the channel just where I like it.
And then I got the impression that Pat Jennings came way out of his goal, and were you aware of that?
Yeah, he began to come to collect the ball, really, but he realised I was going to get there first, so he checked and began to go back to the goal.
Yes.
And give me a chance to cut inside Sammy Nelson, I think it was, and get my left foot shot in.
Have you ever scored a better goal than that?
I haven't yet, no. I don't.
Yet?
Well, you never know, do you? I mean, that pleased me a lot to see that goal. I haven't scored a better one, but I hope I've got a few seasons to try.
Exactly. We had 15 goals this season or so for Birmingham. You finished halfway up the first division. It's been a much more comfortable season for you, and we're pleased to have you with us. Let me just have a last word with Mr. Darville, Stan Darville, though. You're a football fan, pure and simple, are you?
I am, yes.
What, supporting a local side down in Berkshire?
Supporting a local village side where I live, yeah.
Which one is that?
A little village called Waltham St Lawrence. And not having a very good season, but I still go and cheer them on.
That's
now
the
and
stuff.
again, you know.
They need supporters like that, I can tell you. But I hope you've enjoyed your weekend with us.
Oh,
anyway.
it's been marvellous, man.
And one of the best parts still to come yet. We've got our Golden Goals party still to come. But I think the first thing that you'd like me to do now is, and I'm sure the viewers would be to present this trophy to Keith for a really stupendous goal, which we've not got tired of watching week in and week out, Keith.
Thank
and
you
I hope the next time you score one like that, that we're also covering that one too. But if you put that down for a moment,
sure.
And I'd love you if you'd just present a replica of the Golden Goals trophy to Stan Darville. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Stan.
Thanks very much, Steve.
Thanks for the vote.
Really great goal.
Thank you.
There we are, two winners that we're delighted to have with us today. Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen. Well, that wraps up our Golden Goals competition of 1978, but let me just tell you about another goals competition that we should be running on Cup Final Day next Saturday, when we should be taking a goal from each of the last 10 finals and giving 2 viewers the chance to win £50 worth of sports equipment of their choice. So watch out for that, and much more, of course, on Cup Final Day with ITV, starting at 12 o'clock next Saturday. And in the meantime, of course, our thanks to you all for giving us such tremendous support again with our Golden Goals this season. Well, that's it really. Another season of the big match is over, though of course a football bonanza is only just beginning, with the Cup Final next week, the European Cup Final after that, the home internationals, and then the World Cup. And only on ITV can you see all of that. Starting next week, as I say, with the Cup Final between Arsenal and Ipswich, when ITV opens up at midday at Wembley, 5.5 hours packed with good and a few surprising things as well. So see you at Wembley next Saturday. And as we look back now on a weekend of great joy for some and agony for others, my special memory is of that disappointed West Ham crowd that was big-hearted enough to stay on at the end and show their loyalty in defeat. Somewhere there was a lesson for all supporters.